Have you been feeling directionless for a time, or perhaps you're very curious to figure out what your life purpose is, but you can't quite seem to find it? My name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine. Today's topic is the 7 directions. The 4 directions, north, south, west, east, are present on maps. Thank you, cartographers. But also, those 4 directions have been echoed throughout the annals of time in a variety of ways. My mom used to say, a lie will always die and the truth will always be known. As Heather Feather, as you probably well know if you've been watching these videos, loves the truth and has been seeking the truth since her mother was a truth teacher, one of the ways I've flushed up what the truth is I watch for information that continues through the annals of time, information that does not die, and that's how I know I'm finding the truth. An example of this is the 4 elements that are assigned to the 4 directions. We see it echoed in systems that have been around for thousands of years. Systems like feng shui, systems like astrology, systems like the tarot, systems like so many different systems you will find the 4 elements in, which are assigned to the 4 directions. And so, when we're talking about the 7 directions, one of the things we can do is make sure we're aligned in the 7 directions. The first direction being north, heading forward. North is a direction in some of the systems that I just mentioned, can represent career, worth, value. It can represent money. It's going to have to do with your compass and direction and your purpose. Aligning to north means aligning to the physical body, making sure the physical body is well, that you are sustaining life well, you're able to pay for things and handle the physical world well. So we can look at our northern sector of existence and make sure we are aligned in the sectors that have to do with physicality, body, home, vehicle, money, self-worth, self-value, and bring our northern point into alignment. The southern point, where Archangel Michael stands, is the point that has to do with typically fame, reputation, presence, passion, energy, heat, vibrancy, creativity, right? And so in the south, or in our southern direction, and this can be true even if you're casting circle or doing something where you're creating a sacred space and creating a holy ground on which to do any given thing, you would bow to these 4 directions, and you're bowing to the energies that are present. But one of the ways we can take this bow is to look at ourselves and see how we're aligning with the given energy. How is your reputation? Do you have a terrible reputation? Why is that? Do you have a very low perception of yourself and the outer world is reflecting an inner perception that maybe needs to get a little bit more aligned? Is it time to recognize how lovable you are? Have you been feeling kind of dead inside and lacking passion? Or are you struggling to get it up, but you want to have sex? Have you tried horny goat weed? You know what I mean? There are lots of options in our world to help to bring our passion and heat back. You can increase your Agni, your digestive fire. You can take more pitta-based things like pepper or cinnamon or anything that's heating, and heat the body up and keep the Agni up and not put ice in your water. So you can bring the fires alive in your life, your creative passion, your creative interest, your creative energy. You can watch shows about creativity. You can feed yourself social media about creativity to reactivate the creator within you. When is the last time you created something? When we look over to the west or to the east, we're going to deal with the mind and the heart. We're going to deal with how things, the watery feelings of things and the airy mind of things, if you will. So when we go over to the western sector, we're going to begin dealing with our watery emotions, the way things feel. How does it feel to me? How is my heart doing? What is my emotional equivalent right now in life? If I were to look at an emotional scale, where would I find myself? I used to not really like the word hope, for example. I once had a trainer when I was going through an emotional cognitive training program to become a public speaker. And in the program, he had mentioned, what is hope doing for you? Take action, let's go. But when I later studied Abraham Esther Hicks, I realized there's an emotional scale, and hope is a far way above depression and suicidal ideation. So hope can be something to reach for. Relief can be something to reach for if we're drowning in the waters of our own emotion. It's like I can't seem to process all the things I'm feeling. I may have overdeveloped empathy and be feeling the entire world. So how can I bring that into balance? I find that our waters are fed by our east or our air, our mind, our thoughts. What are you thinking about? What you think about, you're going to feel about. And I believe that what you think about and feel about, you bring about, because this becomes your belief operating system. And as Heather Feather often says, 9/10 of what you believe, you will perceive. So one of the great ways, if you're not sure about how you're feeling or why you're feeling, or I don't know, I feel a bunch of things. That's usually Heather's answer. I don't know, I'm feeling about 15 things. Do you have a minute where you go through? I'm feeling these 15 things in response to this one sentence you said, you know what I mean? I'm a complex, watery creature. But if I want to look at what is going on with what I'm feeling, I'm going to look at the air or the thoughts or the mind behind, right? And so in the tarot, this would be called swords, but swords cleft through the air. So the element of air is still present there. But if I consider my mind, and I'm looking in these 4 quadrants, and I'm considering if I'm feeling bad, the first thing Heather does now after decades of this practice is I go, what were you just thinking? What is it you were just thinking? Oh yeah, you're having a wicked dark thought, you know? Sometimes I just sing a little song to myself. Everyone you love will die. It's only a matter of time. And I do that to be aligned, to know, let me get aligned in the paradigm and recognize everyone I love will die, self included. And this is coming, you know, death coming like a freight train. And it's a check-in for me. Now that's a sad, weepy song. Not the best song, everybody. But I find when my waters get too depressive, too angry, too whatever I've been feeding my mind is exactly the fodder that's going to bring that watery daughter for me to hug and embrace in myself. And so I try to be really mindful of what I'm feeding my mind. I love to feed my mind books and haven't read in a time. So I just ordered several books. It's like, I want to read this, this, and this. I'm about to read Anna, Grandmother of Jesus. It's a book that my dear friend Tita recommended. Super excited. It's coming in the mail. I'm reading the Gnostic Gospels. I love to read all kinds of spiritual texts from around the globe, because any way a human takes a knee, I want to take a knee with you and understand. But a lot of the things I can put in my mind activate anxiety and frustration and anger. So we can clear out our air. There is above and there is below as 2 additional directions. Above is also known as upper world shamanically. This is called heavens by a Christian. Upper world is going to represent angelic energies. It's going to represent prayers answered. It's going to represent spiritual components. It's going to represent the light of love. For me, the truth of spirit is love. It's not judgment. It's not darkness. It's not, you know what I mean? Fear is false evidence appearing real. It's the shadow side of the light of love, reflecting what it is with opposition, pretending to be present in the field, right? So it's, I don't do shadow spirituality. To each their own, I'm not, you know? But when you consider upper world, what is upper world to you? Does your God have genitals? What does your God look like? You know what I mean? Does your God have a form? How is your God? Is it loving and compassionate? Is it intelligent? How do you describe that? Do you connect to that at all? What does upper mean to you? Below, under is often underworld, the land of the dead, the land of those that have crossed before us. What is your relationship to your ancestors? Do you call on the upper world? Do you call on your angels? Do you call on your ancestors? Do you call on the lower world and those that are accessible to you to bring you peace and ease? Those in the unseen realms are not going to break free will. Free will is a universal law that is respected universally. It's one of the primary key laws. And so our free will cannot be interrupted by angelic interception. We have to, on some level, intend it. Same with the ancestors. They can aid us quite a bit. Do you talk to your dead? Are you connected to the dead? How are you relating to the concept of your own death and everyone you love dying? How are you relating to that in the paradigm? And finally, and most importantly, I would say, the key of keys. As my mother often told me, the key is within. If you ever feel locked or trapped, you have a key and it's within you. And that key is love. And it's self-love, and it always begins at home. In order for the outer world to reflect anything, we begin where we live. And so inward is the 7th and final direction. How are you doing inwardly? What is your relationship to self? You'll find often, if you get all 7 directions aligned in the paradigm, that suddenly the next step becomes more and more aligned. In order to know your purpose, in order to know the direction, in order to know what you came to do, you don't have to see the entire staircase all the way to the top of the mountain. You don't need to see the whole entire direction home or to the aim or to the goal. You simply need to know how to take the next step. Can you get aligned in your 7 directions if you don't feel such as this is occurring for you at this time? And as you do, just listen within in that key of all keys, to what it is you feel you need to do next. You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube. Leave comments there. I love to hear your thoughts. I'm Moon.